Tales from the Terran Republic, unhappy reunion training days, and an unholy alliance. Maybe. Director Axlea walked into the Terran embassy carrying a neatly wrapped gift box. She looked over at the desk and the smartly dressed woman sitting there. Had she seen here before? She wasn't sure. "Welcome, Director," the woman said in a sharp, less than welcoming tone. "What brings you to the embassy today?" the woman asked crisply as she pulled out a Power Bar Extreme from the desk and swiftly carved it up in an almost predatory manner, her razor-sharp knife murdering it. The bar wasn't mangled. It was cut into neat little blocks, but the director could almost hear it scream. She had little doubt that the woman would do the same thing to her if given half a chance. The atmosphere was definitely different than it usually was. There was no good-natured hostility, just cold politeness. For some reason, the bar seemed less than appetizing today. "Hello, I'm here to speak with the Deputy Ambassador, and I've brought a little gift, something that I should deliver directly to her." "I will have to examine it for security purposes," the woman said as she rose from her desk. "Place it here," Dawn said in a tone that conveyed that it wasn't negotiable. Director Axlea just wiggled in a shrug and placed it down. Dawn sliced open the ribbon and paper and opened the package. Inside was Morgana Farstan's head. Dawn didn't even blink. "How thoughtful," Dawn said as she pulled a scanner from the desk and examined the head. Red-tip nanites, but they are all dead. It checks out." She closed the package and pressed the intercom. "Deputy Ambassador, the Director of Federation Intelligence is here wishing to speak with you and has a gift." "Oh, by all means," a warm, pleasant voice replied. "Show the Director in." Dawn strode over to the door and silently opened it. Ignoring the food bar, Axlea walked into the office. "Well, Director, this is certainly a surprise," Patricia said as she smiled coldly. "It has been quite a while, Coffee Guppy. Forgive me if I don't fetch it this time, bitch." "You certainly have done well for yourself, Guppy. Director, congratulations." "I brought you something," Axlea said as she placed the box on Patricia's desk. "It looked a lot nicer before your person inspected it, but it's the thought that counts, right?" "Well, what do we have here?" Patricia asked with a happy smile as she looked down at Morgana's head. "What a lovely housewarming gift. I know exactly where to put it." "I have a few suggestions as to where you can stick it myself," Axlea said, smiling back. "So I assume this has some significance." "Yes, that belonged to Morgana Farstan, proof that we have dealt with her. Impressively harsh punishment for failing at her mission." "Excuse me?" "Come now," Patricia said with a pleasant chuckle. "Almost immediately after she fails in her attempt to kill the ambassador, you somehow miraculously find her after looking for weeks. What fools do you take us for, Director? You know Creator damn well that isn't how it went." "Do I?" Patricia asked, looking at the Director like she was an insect. "Do I now? Oh well, I guess it can't be proven one way or the other. Pity she failed. Ambassador Hu has a nice ring to it, don't you think?" Director Axlea just let out a long, slow stream of bubbles. "I'm glad you dropped by, Guppy. There is something I need to discuss with you," Patricia said, the corner of her perfect lips curling into a slight smirk. "Due to the increasingly hostile situation here in the Federation, as evidenced by the recent attack on the ambassador, the position of Deputy Ambassador has been created. The duties of this position include acting as the liaison for intelligence and security. As such, instead of bothering the ambassador, you should deal with me in the future." "I'm sure the ambassador will let me know if that is the case," Axlea snarled. "He will. It has already been decided. If he hasn't been informed by now, he will be soon," Patricia said, her green eyes glittering with malice. "Things will be changing around here, Director. John's antics were certainly amusing when this whole embassy farce was a magnificent joke at your expense, but now, after a direct attack upon the Republic at the hands of one of your own, that joke is over. You should be grateful that there is still an embassy at all. If I had my way, the Retribution and her sisters would be paying you a visit, and it wouldn't be for those laughable infrastructure raids." Axlea just glared at her. "Yes, your fondness for needless slaughter is well documented." "Oh, darling, I'm just getting started," Patricia said with a cold smile. "John may not like you and would enjoy a new war. I hate you and know exactly how to make that war happen. Cross us one time, put one little metal toe out of line, give me any tiny little excuse, and your entire Federation will learn what you already know. That you are a soulless, psychotic bitch who values personal power and her own perverted desires over the interests of her own people. Is that what you actually think of me, or is that what you desperately pray that I am?" Patricia said with a little condescending laugh. "What I meant is that they will learn exactly what Terran humans are capable of. What you saw during your Federation's initial visit. That will be here. Those stories that the Porkies told you with tears streaming down their pudgy little cheeks, those will be experienced firsthand by all sorts of animals under your banner. Big talk, but you are nowhere near strong enough to pull off that shit. We are still far more powerful than you will ever be. They will listen to me next time and hit with everything at once, hard. We will burn your systems to ash. So much the better, Patricia said in a cheerful voice. The children have lost their way in a foolish dream and need to be awakened. Our stations destroyed, our planets burning, mothers clutching dead children in their arms, starvation, fear, hate, rage. These things are the real lifeblood of humanity. Fire, chaos, war, and death. Our true natural habitat. Burning our systems to ash will cleanse the Republic of all of the xeno-vermin polluting our worlds and create a new purified generation of humanity. The survivors will be strong, even stronger than we were, and will descend upon you like the fires of hell. We will feast on your flesh and slake our thirst with your blood, Patricia said, her eyes gleaming with delight. And we will be there to guide them, the last of us, the true children of Sol. Creators, void, abyss, and all the rest, Axleia said in horror. You're fucking serious. Just a happy dream, nothing more, Patricia said, folding her slender hands and leaning back in her chair. Even I don't have the power to make that dream a reality. Yet. For one thing, it would require the Federation to act as we do, and you simply do not have the resolve. She said, her beautiful eyes cold with disdain. We had hoped that our tactics during our little playfight would have been enough to provoke you into waking up our children. Instead, you just took it like the little bitches you are and came crawling like worms begging for peace, Patricia said, sneering coldly. You really disappointed us. You were supposed to burn and destroy, but instead you just soiled yourselves. Pathetic. Sorry, not going to do your work for you. You are going to have to wake up the kids yourself, you sick fuck. You only have to make one mistake, Coffee Guppy. One little mistake is all that I need. The Federation will make it. All I have to do is watch, wait, and prepare. All it will take is a little time. Yeah, speaking of time, Axleia said, narrowing her eyes. You seem surprisingly spry for an old hag. I'm getting a little loose-scaled myself. What's your beauty secret? The cosmetic surgeons on Terra can do marvels, Patricia said, laughing. Under this taut skin and perky breasts there is a creaky old lady, trust me. Yeah, I guess time gets us all in the end. Well, I would love to stand here and listen to your megalomania and psychosis all day, but I have a job to do. Nice to see you again, Coffee Guppy. Patricia laughed as Axleia turned to leave. Your boss is a lovely soul, Axleia said to Dawn as she passed by. Yes, a truly great woman, Dawn said, her eyes filled with absolute devotion. Axleia took one look at Dawn's eyes and then took a covert picture of her. I'll probably be seeing you around, Axleia thought to herself as she walked towards the door. As she was leaving, a well-dressed, grey-haired human male walked past. Axleia paused and watched as he approached the desk. He stopped in front of Dawn and discreetly showed her his ring. Dawn just nodded and he walked unannounced into the ambassador's office. Interesting, Axleia thought. She walked out of the embassy and into her grav car. Once inside, she quietly spoke into a microphone. I want a full detailed bioscan of Patricia Hu, top priority, and I mean detailed. There was also a man who entered shortly before I left. He is wearing a ring. Find out who he is, and I want as detailed an image and scan as possible of that ring. She then drove back to her office. During the drive, she received a call. It was from Councillor Markle. Yes, Councillor, she said as she answered. Can you tell me why my human constituents are losing their minds? The Terran Republic just appointed a new deputy ambassador, someone called Patricia Hu. Yeah, just left her office, actually. She's a real sweetheart. Most humans in the Federation are probably having a nervous breakdown right about now. Why? Let me tell you about her. On Saralan 2, Shelia stood on a platform overlooking a field covered with marked lines, holding a stopwatch, putting squads of mercenaries through their paces. Squad 1 to Point Theta, move, she yelled, clicking the stopwatch. A mixed group of humans, Threen and Drax, sprinted across the field. Squad 3 to Point Gamma, move! A group of Zoosh tore across the ground. Jessie walked up holding her tablet. Check it out, boss, she said. Shelia took the tablet and shook her head. God damn it, Cyrus. When I told you she was fed intel, it was supposed to be background information, not a fucking suggestion to get them involved. Shit. She turned to Jessie. Great, now we need to set up a new drug channel. Just fucking perfect, she said in exasperation. How about Gloria and Roberts? Our two darlings are en route to the White Star. Their tickets have been bought and their IDs are a go. As if there was ever any question, Jessie said with pride. Well, at least there is that. Shelia looked back across the field. Squad 2 to Point Epsilon, move. I fucking love paintball, Mulshakal yelled as she ran up to the rest of her gang, covered in a rainbow of splatters. Yeah, but I think the point is not to get hit. Balsurkala laughed, wiping himself off. At least we did better than most, said Rachel Zun. Shelia's team is fucking brutal. We at least reached the first objective before getting pounded. Better than most ain't gonna cut it, Jakul Shah said as he took off his helmet. After dinner, let's get back out there and practice those runs. We want to look good. We don't want to clasp the pebble during the real thing neither. More paintball. Yes, Mulshakal enthused. What is Field 2 doing lit up? Shelia asked Greg that evening. Oh, a few of the Zhush teams are out there throwing paint, Greg replied. Apparently getting their shells decorated today didn't sit well with some of them. They also really like paintball, it seems. Well, shit. Good for them. Yeah, I went over and checked it out. They are really going at it. I had to remind them if they got hurt they would get their 10 grand. Greg laughed. Seems that team that has that Brainiac guy on it set it up. That team again, huh? I think I need to check them out. Oh, I put in an order for He3 with Kolvachksa. We need to have our tank full just in case, Greg said as he pointed at a cell on a spreadsheet. Christ, that shit is expensive, Shelia grumbled. You think I don't know that? Greg laughed. But we have already fought that battle with the chief more than once. You know perfectly well he won't allow 1 atom of deuterium on our ship. Yeah, Shelia laughed. I don't know what's worse, the throne wrenches or the physics lectures. So why the White Star, really? Logan asked Shelia later that evening as she snuggled him. I know it's not just that counselor. What was his name again? Counselor fucking Morgan. He was the jack-off really behind Red Sunday. He's reason enough. As long as we break even, I'm happy. Yeah, but what else? I know you guys all too well, Logan said as he stroked her hair. What's the big score? All you have to know is that the big score is big enough to pay your big cut, Shelia laughed. What? You trying to fuck your way into a better share? If so, you are going to have to put in a lot more work, she said to him, her eyes sparkling. Well, I guess I'd better get started then, Logan laughed as he kissed her. Around the same time, Bal Surkala was sitting on a small hill overlooking the forest, gazing up at the near-constant shower of meteors that lit up the sky. There you are, Mulshakal said as she scuttled up. What you doing? Oh, nothing really, just thinking. What about? Smart stuff? Mulshakal said as she plopped down next to him. Nah, Bal Surkala said, just remembering shit. Bad stuff, Mulshakal said, putting her manipulator around his shell. Good and bad, he said. Like how I haven't seen trees since, well, you know. He looked back up at the sky. It's really weird how I got here, how we all got here, I guess. Yeah, it's weird, Mulshakal said as she scooched in a little closer. It's like it's not even real sometimes, you know. Not that long ago I was just some soft-shell college nerd. Now I'm like a fucking super soldier or something, Bal Surkala said, looking up as a huge chunk of debris hit the atmosphere. Wow, that was a nice one. Yeah, I know. It's like I should be smashing ore, not cramming for one of your college exams. I think I have the security tactics down, though, Mulshakal said as she idly moved one of her legs around behind him. Oh, good. I know that was giving you some problems. Wait, what? Bal Surkala said as he looked over at her. What? She asked, moving closer. What are you doing? What does it look like? She asked as she moved in even closer. It looks like a really bad idea. Yeah, Mulshakal laughed. So what? Bad ideas are our thing. We let ourselves turn. We decided to fight the entire fucking Federation. When it was over, I could be making good money in a mine somewhere, and you shit. You could have gone back to school or gotten a job anywhere. Instead, nope, more bad ideas. So what's one more little tiny bad idea? She leaned in and chirped in his ear. It's just... What? You don't want me? Mulshakal pulled back a little. No, you are amazing. It's just that I haven't been with anyone since... Chirp. Chirp. But... Chirp. Mulshakal gently stroked his shell. Bal Surkala turned to face her, pressing his body against hers. Chirp, he replied. The following morning, Dawn, wearing a t-shirt and sweatpants, walked into a large spare room in the embassy. Waiting for her, wearing loose-fitting silk trousers and shirt with a wide silk sash around her waist, was Patricia Hu. Okay, child, show me what you have. Come, Patricia said with a smile. Ma'am? Attack me. But... I said attack. Dawn carefully approached in a sparring stance and threw a controlled soft punch. Patricia snarled, slapped Dawn's hand away and stepped back. What the fuck was that? She asked sharply. What? Do you have the audacity to think you can hurt me, child? Patricia asked, her eyes burning with anger. Dawn shrank away under her gaze. Now we will do this again, and if you do not come at me trying your best to kill, I shall cast you from my sight and never speak to you again. Do you want that? No. No, please. Then attack. Show me your resolve. Prove yourself to me. Dawn swallowed hard and then charged. She launched a devastating strike. Suddenly, Dawn felt herself flying as she was hurled a good 5 meters from where she stood. She instinctively rolled and sprang to her feet. Acceptable, Patricia said with a smile. However, I didn't say to stop. Dawn yelled and charged again and again and again. Each time she was effortlessly hurled away or struck down by an impossibly painful blow. Eventually, she wound up on her side, vomiting. She struggled to stand and collapsed back into her own bile. Get up, Patricia said. Dawn tried again, but her arms gave out and she fell face first into her puke. Get up now. Dawn screamed and commanded her beaten, exhausted body to obey, slowly struggling to her feet. Again, Patricia commanded. Dawn stumbled towards her master, her mentor, her everything, legs shaking, barely able to walk. Patricia smiled a wonderful, warm, approving smile that filled Dawn's heart with joy. Good child. Very, very good, Patricia said happily. You did very well. I did, but I didn't. You actually expected to hit me? Patricia laughed pleasantly. No, I'm afraid that isn't possible for you just yet. You did, however, prove your strength of resolve. You proved your worth. I proved my worth, Dawn thought. You have proven yourself to be someone worth teaching. Your strength of resolve is remarkable. You are very special, Dawn. I'm special, Dawn thought, completely overjoyed. She said that I am special. Most people would have quit in defeat, given in to the frustration or the pain. I did inflict pain, didn't I? Dawn just silently nodded. She was in a lot of pain. Even breathing hurt. You, however, kept going until you couldn't, and then still rose when you should not have been able to do so. I am so very proud of you. She is proud of me. This was a test, an entrance exam, if you will. A test that you passed with flying colors, Patricia said as she stepped forward and embraced Dawn. Dawn hugged her tight, overcome with joy. The actual training will be far less uncomfortable, Patricia laughed, stroking her hair. Thank God, Dawn sighed. Patricia laughed the most wonderful laugh in the world. It made Dawn so happy it felt that her heart would burst. Patricia stepped away and looked down at herself, still laughing. I think we both need to go and clean ourselves up, she laughed. She then walked over and picked up a bag from the corner of the room. Here, put all of this in your bath and take a nice long hot soak. It will help, and then take the day off. I think you could use a little rest after this morning. No, I will be fine. I'll take my bath and report for duty. Please. Your resolve is admirable, but don't question me. You need to rest after this morning. Take a nice long soak in what I gave you and rest. I want you healed and rested for tomorrow. The place will still be standing despite your absence, I promise. Yes, ma'am, Dawn said with a disappointed voice. Dawn just stood there, her eyes glowing with devotion and awe as Patricia walked away. I'm a Marine Raider, the best of the best, she thought, and I couldn't do shit. I tried to kill her and I couldn't even touch her. I have so much to learn. I can't wait, she thought, barely able to contain her glee as she collapsed. Ow, she laughed as she started to spasm and dry heave. Patricia lounged in her office that day, smiling to herself. That girl is more than she appeared, she thought happily. She actually got up. Not only that, but she still wanted to serve despite the agony that I gifted her with. She is more than some disposable little plaything. I can make something out of her, she thought with a happy little laugh. The intercom buzzed. Deputy Ambassador, a man's voice said. Miss Salvatore is here to see you. Oh, wonderful. Let her through. The door opened and a silver-haired but very fit woman entered, approached the desk and nodded slightly. Patricia, lovely to see you again. Lydia, it has been too long, Patricia said as she walked around her desk and gave her a quick hug, kissing her on both cheeks. So you are here, blood drinker, Lydia said with a smile. Patricia laughed. She looked Lydia up and down. You are looking well. Yes, good clean living and all that. They both laugh. Patricia returned to her desk and Lydia took a seat across from her. So, down to business then, Patricia said with a chuckle. Who stands with you? Lydia smiled and slid a single sheet of paper across to her. Patricia took it and read. Wonderful, Patricia exclaimed, her green eyes shining with delight. This is much better than I had hoped. Indeed. So, any instructions? Lydia asked, producing an old-styled notebook and fountain pen. Patricia's ruby lips parted into an excited smile and her eyes blazed as she started to relay her commands. Lydia took careful notes. Simple enough, Lydia said, rising to leave. Consider it done. Take your time and do it properly. Time is, after all, on our side. Got it, Lydia said with an elegant smile. Ever find it funny that after everything we now stand together? It's fucking hilarious, Patricia said with an evil chuckle. I wonder if others will appreciate the humor as much as we do when we get to the punchline. They both laugh as Lydia Salvatore departs. Oh yes, we now stand together, you porky whore, Patricia thought as she chuckled. She pulled out an old locket from her clutch, opened it and gazed at the hologram inside. For a full 2 seconds, Patricia looked human. She then closed the locket and put it away, her eyes full of hate. She picked up the sheet of paper that Lydia handed her and read it again with an evil smile. Later that day, Patricia's phone rang. Hello. Oh, hi, Mark, Patricia said in a cheerful voice. It didn't take that guppy long, did it? I guess I made quite the impression. What? She laughed. Yes, as a matter of fact, I did say that. Oh, we got into a little pissing match and she said that they could turn our worlds to ash. What was I supposed to say? Oh no, please, miss, anything but that. I'll be a good girl, promise, she chuckled. It's best they think we are at least a little bit crazy. Put the fear of terror into them, you know. What? Of course not. I mean, I know I have a little bit of a reputation, but exactly what sort of monster do you think I am? She laughed as her lovely green eyes sparkled wickedly.